Hello, this is Gio. Hey, look what I have here. I have a toilet, and this toilet is not functioning properly. Actually, it's not filling up with water after the flush. Now here's the insides with the lid off, and as you can see, there's really no water in the tank, and the water is turned on, but it's just not filling up. Now this could be kind of one of three problems. Now yours might look a little bit different. I kind of have this fancy kind of flap valve here, but on the bottom you may just have a little flapper, a little rubber flapper that kind of stops and starts the water. Now, if you are getting leakage into the toilet and it's just not filling up because of that, well, that could either be that little flapper that's on the bottom not sealing well and leaking, so it's constantly running, or it could just be the fill valve here. It's not turning off for some reason, and that could be the floater, or that could be just a bad seal. But in this case, it's neither one. It's actually just, there's no leakage. It's just not filling up, and that's because the fill valve is not engaging basically the valve properly. So as this float goes down, it engages and turns on the valve, but in this case, it's just not turned on. And if I just push down a little bit on this, just like this, you'll notice it starts filling. Okay, since the issue isn't that it's leaking water, let's say from the bottom, or if it's continuously running, the issue is just it will not fill up water. It's probably because you either have some obstructions with this float right here, obstructions with the lever arm, or it's just kind of dirty and you kind of have to clean and lubricate this rod and the float right there. So the first thing we're going to do is just kind of look around, and I don't see any obstructions. The float looks like it's can be moved. The arm here, this line in or out sometimes hangs up this arm. So everything seems like it's free moving here. So we're going to go ahead and try to clean. So let's first start by turning off the water. So we can do this without it filling up. So make sure that everything, okay, good. There's no water drain the tank. And so the first thing, I'm just kind of feeling this, and you can kind of hear the float is not really moving all that smoothly. Depending on how much minerals you have in your water, you can get mineral buildup around this little pipe here around the float. And so you just want to make sure you clean that out as best you can. And the lever arm feels okay, but now you may see videos where you actually remove this cap and you can get into there. In this case, this type of valve, you can't really do that easily. So if you look under the valve cap itself, you can see that the cap is pretty much attached to the valve arm itself. So you can't really remove the cap without damaging the valve. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just take a paper towel and some water and just try to spray and clean this float as best I can, moving it up and down, making sure that there's no grime or debris around this little tube that holds the float. Now you could also use CLR to maybe squirt in there, and maybe that will help remove some of the calcium buildup in there. I'm gonna lift this up and see if I can get underneath this float a little bit and just try to clean this out as best I can. And see if I can get this thing moving a little bit better. Now, if you may need to actually remove the actual valve itself if you can't get your hand in there. And if you're going to do that, you might as well just replace the valve. They're fairly cheap, and you might as well just replace the valve since the valve's already kind of getting old. But we'll do that and then make sure that there's no obstructions on this lever arm right there. And so next I'm just going to apply some silicone grease, also known as plumber's grease. It's basically waterproof, and it's benign to your plumbing, And so we'll just apply some of these with a Q-tip. Just gonna apply a little bit of that on a Q-tip and kind of just try to get it into this float right here. So when it goes up and down, it'll be slightly lubricated. Now, if it's all crusted up with minerals, this won't help that much, but we'll try to get underneath it as well. And already I can tell it's moving a lot better. So next, again, I can't remove this cap, but I just want to apply a little bit of this grease here around this lever arm and just kind of get it in there as best I can without applying too much pressure. But hopefully I can get some contacts to be greased up right here. And so with that, we'll go ahead and turn back on the water. Let it fill up. Goes off. When I do it slowly, seems to be slow when I drop it down slowly, but it still seems to activate. So I think it's working a little bit better. Hopefully this will last for a little bit. Now the fact that it is sticking, the valve is sticking, suggests that I will eventually need to replace this valve, but this is one mechanism by which you could maybe extend the life of your valve. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button at the bottom of the screen and even consider subscribing to my channel. I have many more videos to come. Bye-bye.